Hello, everybody. I've talked about taxes, I've talked about employment, I've talked about other things. I've talked about education, I've talked about medical for all. I have talked about many things, and sometimes I talk about controversial subjects. I don't avoid them, and this time I'm going to talk about the thing that has everybody all upset. Contraceptive and insurance. This college student had the audacity, and I'm going to say audacity, go to our Congress and say, Congress, you should pay for contraceptive. Now, why do I say audacity? Because nothing is free. She sits there and says how she sees in the women's eyes. Well, I see in the father's eyes as he's trying to feed his children. I see in the mother's eyes as they're trying to make ends meet. And the reason I bring that up is because nothing is free. Let's talk about a working person who has a company that will provide their insurance. First, they get the type of policy they choose. The company will provide for the worker a particular policy, which covers pretty much most medical, for the worker and no one else. But he has a wife, and he wants his wife on the policy. So to add his wife, he personally has to pay more. It's got to come out of his pocket. It doesn't come from the company. It doesn't come from the government. It comes from his salary. I mean, a single man working in a company, insurance runs from zero to a very small amount a month. As soon as he has a wife, it really jumps up. Of course, a month. Now, if he has children, one child usually doesn't bring, but two or more really jumps that policy up. Even more. And the family pays for it out of that worker's salary. Nothing they got was free. They paid for the additional insurance. Now, if they want a full Cadillac policy, they could pay for it. It will cost a lot more money. Now, why does this 20-some-year-old law student feel the federal government should tell insurance companies, you're going to give contraceptive for free? Because they're not. All they're going to do is increase it on everybody's policy. But if that woman wants contraceptive, then for her to get an insurance policy that covers contraceptives. If she probably talks to this providing agent for the insurance policy that they got for the college, they probably provided for a small nominal fee. I mean, if it means during spring break she might not be able to go where she wants, to have the party she wants, maybe not. Maybe she doesn't go anywhere for parties. She just sits back and studies. But to expect something for nothing, the audacity of an individual standing up before Congress and say, give me, give me, give me. That's my comment. I don't see a person standing up there and saying, we need to have available the choice to have contraceptives. I see a person who says, give me, give me, give me. I'm sure that family of a working man would love to get their insurance at the same cost of almost nothing that the single person gets. But it doesn't happen. They got more bills, they got more expenditures, they got more mouths to feed. It just doesn't happen. That's why you see family people driving family cars, and single people in the same job, same position, drive these fancy guy or girl cars. That's why you see these family people with one big TV and a bunch of small ones, and the single at the same level having maybe a big TV in every room, having all the game consoles, where the family might have one or two. See, you buy what you get. You stand on your feet and say, this is it. If you expect someone to give you something, don't expect the Cadillac. Don't expect the Rolls Royce. It don't work that way, people. You have to work for those extras. I mean, don't even expect the Chevrolet with everything included. Just be thankful you got a car. Same thing with insurance. If you expect it for free, don't expect the Cadillac version. But you can add to it. You can pay a little extra and get the things you feel you need. That's what insurance is about. Just like me, I got to double everything that the minimum the state of Virginia requires. I got double that. Plus, I believe I got $1 million. Why? Because I want to know that if I should do something and cause something, my wife and my daughter are unhurt also. Well, that's the way it is. It cost me more. They didn't give it free. But my automotive insurance got a little more to it. It didn't come free. That's the same thing with our medical. I could have got, I'm retired military, and I could have got just straight Champus, which doesn't have much of anything. But to have better coverage for my daughter and for my wife, I went with TRICARE Prime, which costs me so much extra a month. But it comes out of my pocket to get that extra coverage. My retirement promised this, and that's all it is. I want extra. I had to pay for it. Not Congress, not the Senate. So, my answer to that young lady is if she wants contraceptives in her insurance policy, for her to get a policy that has it and pay the difference. And that is an option each and every single person in this country has. That's the way it is. Sorry. That's the way I feel. Nothing is a free ride. Believe me. Up to this point in my life, I have found that out to be true. I have worked and worked and worked. Payment is done in different ways. And I'm glad I've done it the way I did it. Like I could have retired after 20 years. But instead I did 26 years in the Navy. What did that do? That increased my retirement. I have an injury from the Navy that gives me an extremely bad lip and hurts a lot. So it does give me a disability. And from the time I can remember, from the very start of working, and all through my working career, I paid into Social Security. Sure, our government used it to fund wars, and our government used it for other things, hoping I would never reach the age I've reached. So that, wow, bang, yes, I may look like, oh, well, you got this, you got that, and you got this, and you're not working anymore, and you got it. But I paid for every cent of it. Everything I got right now, I paid for. From the time I was 14 till now. I paid for it. I worked for it. No one gave it to me. I remember when I used to get my first W-2s. I thought, wow, I made that much money this year. Wow, and then I put it away. Because I didn't know what it was. I didn't even file taxes on my first W-2s. I would have got all of it back because I made so little, but it told me how much I paid into Social Security and how much I paid in income tax and state taxes. Wow! Thought that was neat. Well, when I found out what I was supposed to do with it, and I did it, I started when I was younger, when I was by myself, and getting money back. I thought that was even neater until I got older and started making more money, and they were taking more out in taxes and more. I remember one time I got promoted and a pay raise, a longevity pay raise. I went over so many years and got promoted, and my paycheck went down $2. Because everything I got put me in another tax bracket, which took everything away. Plus $2. That's neither here nor there. The truth is, bottom line, you have to understand, young lady, it is available to you. You just have to pay for it. And expect to pay for it. Because if you expect the government to give you a handout and say, here, free, you're in the wrong country. And there's no need to expect the country ever to be totally free. You pay for what you get, one way or the other. Believe me, I had a whole lifetime of finding that out. Yes, I will admit I got a rather comfortable retirement now, but I paid every red cent for it. And it's not just Social Security. It's 26 years in the Navy, and it's not being able to walk decent. Yes, there is a VA disability there. It's not being able to hear you when you talk to me. And I have to wear glasses and still in this eye I see double. All that's because of injuries that happened to me during the military. And yes, I actually paid for it. Each and every cent that I get now, I paid for, one way or the other, from the time I started working to this present. And young lady, understand that. The way insurances usually work, the worker gets covered with a policy to cover the worker. Wants to add a wife, or he has to pay extra. Wants to add children, he has to pay extra. Wants to add dental, he has to pay extra. You want to add contraceptive to your insurance? Expect to pay for it. That's all I'm saying. If they don't provide it, then you can go to the college and question why you don't have the option to add it. That I will agree and support you with. Thank you. This is JD, and that's my answer to this young lady's demand for contraceptives. Thank you. There is no right to demand anything. It's how can you get it.